You know those mornings when the world just clicks into place? The air's got that sharp bite that wakes you up better than any coffee, and you're out there in the woods feeling like you own every damn tree. Well, that's how it started for me, up here in the rugged hills of Cedar Valley, where I've been carving out a life for the past 2 decades as a simple carpenter, building tables and cabinets from the oaks and maples that grow right on my land. I'd just wrapped up a big oak hutch for the local clinic, my hands still smelling like varnish and sweat, and after Sarah, my wife, the sharpest mind I know, packed me a thermos, I hopped on the four-wheeler to check the far boundary, the one that snakes up the eastern ridge past the dry creek and the deer trails we watch every fall. I'd been putting it off, but something tugged at me that day, like the mountain was whispering trouble. And boy, was it right, because as I crested the hill, there it was, not some mirage or fallen log, but a sleek modern cabin, all glass walls and polished timber, plunked down like it owned the view, right smack in the heart of my 40 acres. No permits, no heads up, nothing but arrogance staring back at me through those floor-to-ceiling windows that screamed city money trying to play pioneer. My gut twisted hard. I've fought tooth and nail for this land, inherited from my granddad who logged it fair and square, and over the years I've dealt with everything from fence jumpers to survey scams, folks thinking they can nibble at the edges because I'm just some backwoods guy. But this was bold. Like someone figured I was too busy in my shop to notice them stealing a chunk of my world, maybe driven by that HOA down in Pine Ridge, where the newcomers with their gated vibes have been pushing boundaries, literally, griping about community expansion, while eyeing our wild spaces with envy, resenting how we old-timers hold on to what's ours without their rules and fees. I killed the engine, pulled out my phone with the property app. Yep, the GPS pin dropped dead center on my parcel, no doubt, and instead of storming and hot, I called Sarah, my rock, the one who traded her city paralegal gig for this life with me, and she didn't skip a beat. What now, Jake? Not another coyote in the shed? Worse, I told her. Someone's built a freaking getaway pad deep in our woods. Bring the drone. We're locking this down before it turns ugly. She showed up fast, unpacking that little flying camera like we were prepping for battle. And we were, because she'd seen me get burned once by a shady developer who tried to claim easement rights through forged maps, all because of some old grudge from town hall politics. So we documented everything, me standing there with my deeds and laminated surveys, talking straight to the lens. This is Jake Thompson, on my land in Cedar Valley, and if I'm wrong about this cabin being trespass, I'll own it. But I ain't. Feeling that mix of fury and calm resolve bubbling up, like protecting what's yours isn't just a right, it's a duty etched in your bones. Then I looped in my buddies. Mike, the burly auto shop owner with arms like tree trunks, and Dave, the ex-marine engineer who's inspected more bridges than I've felled logs, and we rented those excavators, rumbling up the trail by afternoon, Sarah circling the drone overhead while I watched the sun slant through the pines, knowing this wasn't just about a building. It was about drawing a line against folks who think money buys them shortcuts over hard-earned roots. We started slow, methodical, the claws biting into that fancy deck with a satisfying crunch. Me narrating again for the record. No contact, no rights. This is private property, and we're removing the intrusion. And that's when the sleek BMW SUV purred up the dirt path, kicking up dust, and out steps Lisa Reynolds, president of the Pine Ridge HOA, all tailored blazer and heels sinking into the mud, her face twisting from confusion to outrage as she spots the wreckage. What in God's name are you doing? That's my retreat. Oh, afternoon, ma'am, I drawled, sipping my coffee like it was just another chat. You must be lost, because this spot's been mine for years, well inside my lines. She whipped off her shades, eyes narrowing like daggers. I'm Lisa Reynolds. I run the HOA, and this is expansion land. We have every right. But I held firm, patient but unyielding. HOA stops at the Valley Road, Lisa. Your surveyor's got some explaining to do. And as the machines kept going, she waved her arms, voice pitching up. Stop this insanity. You're committing a felony, destroying my vision. Sarah stepped in cool as ice. Call your lawyer, check your title, we've got footage that says otherwise. And Lisa just glared, dialing furiously. Get up here now, they're tearing it apart. Her entitlement cracking like those beams, born I figured from years of bossing neighbors around, resenting outsiders like us who didn't bow to her community standards. Maybe even a personal vendetta after I'd turned down her offer to sell a strip of land last year for their fancy clubhouse. It didn't take long for the cavalry, her husband in his polo and 2 goons looking like rented muscle from a bad thriller, piling out of a black Escalade, charging up like they owned the dirt. and her hubby snarls, "You, the hillbilly, thinking he can wreck our investment?" "I'm the owner," I shot back, "and your wife's the one who built on stolen ground." And before I could blink, one thug shoves me hard. "This him?" He grunts, and I stumble, but Mike's off his machine like lightning, wedging between us. "Back off, pal," while Dave blocks the other, all calm lethality from his service days, and suddenly it's chaos. Shoves turning to swings, grunts and curses flying as Mike locks one in a bear hug. Dave dodging a punch with a wry, "Take it easy, son, before you hurt yourself." Me scrambling up and landing a wild hook that connects just enough to sting. Sarah yelling over the din, "Cops are coming, you idiots! Smile for the drone!" Lisa screeching, filming her side like it's all our fault, her fury masking that deep-seated fear of losing control. The HOA queen dethroned by folks she saw as beneath her. The scuffle a raw outburst of her manipulated world crumbling. Sirens wailed up the trail, deputies spilling out, "Hands up, freeze!" And we did, panting, dirt-streaked. As they separated us, reviewed Sarah's footage, their faces hardening at the shove that started it all, hauling everyone in for statements. Me nursing a split lip in the cruiser, thinking this fight wasn't just physical. It was the clash of old ways versus greedy overreach, and we'd just lit the fuse. Back home, sore but unbroken, Sarah brewed soup while plotting our next moves, uploading videos, calling our attorney. But Lisa wasn't done. Oh no. Her retaliation hit like a snake strike, EPA agents knocking the next day with an anonymous tip about toxic dump on my land, leading us to black bags of debris staged near the site. Obvious plant job. Her way of twisting the knife, fueled by that HOA power trip where she manipulated rules to bully dissenters. Maybe even a grudge from hearing I'd badmouthed their expansion plans at the town meeting. But Dave dropped by with gold, a buddy's trail cam catching her SUV slinking in at midnight, hoodied figures unloading junk, plate clear as day, and his report on the cabin's shoddy build, foundations on shaky soil that could have slid in a storm, turning her dream into a hazard, our counterpunch sharpening as we realized this wasn't mistake. It was calculated land grab, her envy of our freedom boiling over into fraud. Court loomed when she sued for destruction, assault, the works, her lawyer spinning her as the victimized visionary. But Sarah laid it out. Drone clips, GPS proofs, that damning video, Dave testifying on the dangers with his creds shutting down objections, even texts from Lisa to her builder. "Rush it, he won't notice the ridge." Her face paling as the judge grilled. "Permits? Jurisdiction?" And me standing tall. "I build things. Don't tear 'em down lightly. But when rot sets in from lies and attacks, you cut it out before it spreads." The room thick with tension, her crumbling facade a mix of denial and rage, that miffed entitlement finally cracking under truth's weight. The gavel fell in our favor. $400K restitution for the mess, criminal referral for her fakes and dumps, and watching Lisa slump, hubby deflated. It hit like sweet justice, her empire unraveling as the HOA booted her in an emergency vote. Whispers of long-simmering resentment from members tired of her iron fist, her arrest following for fraud and assault. The goons, too, while the county redrew maps confirming our lines, even commending Dave for spotting the risks. Neighbors trickled by with pies and handshakes, even some from her side admitting, "We never liked her pushiness." And we capped it with a bonfire on the cleared spot, flames dancing as Mike grilled burgers, Sarah toasting to holding your ground and keeping the wolves out. The night alive with laughter, a symbolic reclaiming that left me reflective, staring at the stars, knowing life's battles shape you. But winning with integrity? That's the real victory. Yet part of me wonders, if roles flipped, would I have pushed too far? Or is this just how power corrupts the entitled, leaving the rest to fight dirty for what's right? What do you think? Have you dealt with HOA tyrants or land grabs? Drop a comment below. Share your stories. Was I justified tearing it down so quick, or should I have waited for the suits? Hit like if you're team underdog, subscribe for more real-life tales, and let's debate justice in the comments. Your take could spark the next big discussion.